Greetings and salutations, friends. Welcome to the Adam Clery football channel. Adam Clery, obviously, and cards fully on the table. For a very long time, I have thought Bryan Mbeumo was the most underrated forward in the Premier League, to the extent that if anyone ever asked me, who would you really like Newcastle to sign, Adam? I wouldn't even think about it. I would just say, Bryan Mbeumo, please. But Newcastle United are not getting him, are they? Manchester United are. Probably, at the time of me recording this video, they are still yet to agree a fee. But if he's going to go anywhere, he is going to go there, and for a sizable sum of money. So why do they want to pay that? And why do I, along with people who are vastly more qualified than me, think he's worth it? Well, pop the kettle on. I'm going to show you. All right, so just the bio incredibly quickly, right? Bryan Mbeumo is a French-born Cameroon international who signed for Brentford for just a few million quid in the Championship in 2019, has genuinely developed every single year as a player since then, and despite having no hair now, is still only 25 years old. In fact, actually, no, scrap that bit, because his birthday is in August, so by the time they get this done, he might well be 26. And the idea is that he is arriving to be the peanut butter here to Matheus Cunha's jelly over there. The yin to his yang, the key to his peel, the Pokemon red to his Pokemon blue, the right-sided number 10 in the 3-4-2-1 system that Ruben Amorim would simply rather die than deviate from, apparently. And while, yes, he did not technically play in this exact role last season, this is the area of the pitch in which he thrives, and he got 20 goals and 8 assists in the league last season by, playing in it. Now let's just back up a second and give you some Manchester United specific context, right? Ruben Amorim wants, in all positions, but especially in these two direct runners who can simultaneously roast you on a transition, but also still open you up in possession. So if you want to play there, you need that extremely rare profile of just being supremely athletic, quick and strong, but also really technically gifted, so you can prise open a defense or find a pass that most other players can't. And of course, if you watched the video we did about Matheus Cunha going to play in this system, that's exactly the kind of player that he is. And as we showed you in that video, when you turn the ball over, you need to be able to break quickly with it at your feet, getting into the right areas and basically creating tap-ins for your teammates, in particular centre forward, which he does. And of course, when you're on top, you need to be able to drift from one space to another, sometimes wider, sometimes more central, sometimes up top, to move defenders around and find space for both yourself and your teammates, which he does. Now, interestingly, and I shall just wave the magic wand here, Brentford predominantly played this 4-2-3-1 system. They mixed it up every now and then, but primarily it was this, with Bryan Mbeumo as the right-sided attacking forward. And simultaneously, very interestingly, but also very annoyingly for me, when they did use a 3-4-2-1 last season, which happened twice, at home to Newcastle and away to Spurs, in neither of those games did Bryan Mbeumo play in the position he'll play for Man United. He started one at wing-back and one up top. And yet, some would say slightly conveniently, if you go back and watch the Newcastle game where he was playing right wing back, you can see why this area of the pitch is so well suited to him, even if he doesn't necessarily start in it. Even though he's the wing back in this system, he is very advanced, he's very aggressive, he's well ahead of the play, he receives it, and he does not have one little thought in his head about getting to the byline and opening up this channel for a teammate. He just wants to get into it himself with the ball. He skips past Lewis Hall, which is not easy. He shrugs off Joe Linton, which is really not easy. And then he just lets it rip right into the top corner, which is pretty good. And while obviously it's a very impressive goal, yes, round of applause, well done, even though obviously I was furious when it went in, it's a very good indicator of what he's always trying to do when the opportunity allows. Now, this was his total heat map in the Premier League last season. So all the games are sort of bundled into one, right? And obviously, spending a lot of time on the touchline here because, as discussed, he was the right-sided forward in that 4-2-3-1. But you can also see, it's a huge percentage of it you would class as being in this inside channel. And crucially, virtually none down here. And what does that tell you? Well, that tells you he is the right-sided attacker, but he never, ever, if he can help it, gets to the byline. Because when he's running with the ball, he's going inside instead. Like, clearly he is starting in these wide areas, but he's getting, with the ball or without it, into these ones. Which, and my God, thank you Opta for this one, is even better illustrated by this. Every single one of his chance-creating carries last season. And you might well be thinking, well, just hang on a second, Adam, I'm actually not a total nerd. I've never once sat around a pub talking about chance-creating carries. Can you translate that for normal people, please? And yes, of course, right you are. A carry is simply running with the ball, which you probably already knew. And these are all the times he did that in the Premier League last season that directly led to a shot either for him or someone else. The red ones are chances he made for himself. The blue ones are chances he made for just anybody else. And if you are part of the audience who watches this on their mobile phone instead of on the telly in their living room, which is what I'd secretly hope everybody does, you might have to squint a little bit, but if you look, follow these circles back to their point of origin, they almost all start in wide areas before moving into that inside channel, just like that Newcastle United goal, because that is what Bryan Mbeumo does. And out of all of these chances, either for him or for somebody else, 11 of them ended up in the back of that net last season. And I can already tell, I can feel it, I can sense it through the screen. You want to ask the single most important question about that stat, don't you? Is that good? Is 11 a lot? Last season, there was only Mo Salah got or made more goals this way with 13, and that 11 not only puts him level with Vinicius Jr. in joint second, but one ahead of Lamine Yamal. So, yes, that is quite impressive. You would expect only the very best players in the very best teams to be posting those sort of numbers for doing that particular thing. So just to quickly reiterate that pecking order for you, right? You've got Liverpool, then Real Madrid and Brentford, then Barcelona. And when you look at his numbers, you can just see why he's so effective at doing this. These are genuinely extraordinary for any player, let alone, with all due respect, someone playing for the team that finished 10th in the Premier League last season. Key passes, which is just making chances, passes into the box, crosses into the box. He's at the very top of European football for all those numbers, as well as carries into the penalty area, carries into the final third, taking on players, beating players. He's very quietly, over the last couple of years, jumped into this elite bracket of players in European football for just being a real direct, go and do it yourself attacking threat. You watch any set of clips for him, either creating or going for goal himself, and you just see defenders properly panicked whenever he faces them up. This is a particularly favourite Mbeumo example of mine, and if you are a Man United fan, you'll probably enjoy it as well. They're playing Liverpool, and Mbeumo squares up Tsimikas early on, and immediately Alexis McAllister joins in to try and shut off him going inside the fullback. Now, don't worry, there's a lot more to this, but even just from this bit, you can see that Liverpool's game plan was to double up on him. They did not think they could live with him 1v1, so they did not want to let that happen, which if you're a player, huge compliment, but if you're a manager, will leave you with several exploitable opportunities from where those players go missing from. But this doubling up doesn't work, because just by occupying the brain space of these two players, the fullback is able to overlap really easily and get to the byline. Now, of course, if this was at Man United, that's not a fullback, that's a wingback whose job is to provide that outside run even more than a fullback would be doing it. So already, that bodes quite well. Now, Brentford don't actually score from this, but when you look at it right here, Brentford absolutely should score from this, and that's all because of Mbeumo. Now, the next time the ball comes to him, the transition has been so quick, they've caught Alexis McAllister out, so both Virgil van Dijk and Cody Gakpo think, oh shit, someone's got to get over there, and they race to cover. Now, in my opinion, it's actually a bad idea for him to shoot here, because if you pause it at that exact moment, and you look at what has happened simply as a consequence of his presence, his gravity, his aura, as people younger than me might say, then he can slip the fullback in here to give Wissa a tap in. Or if you've got the deftness, the arrogance, the Riz, I guess, I don't know how people talk anymore, then you can just loft that in yourself and give Visser a goal. He is pulled just by existing these centre-backs apart like this, and again, that's just what he does. Like, this is 10 minutes later, the exact same scenario, the exact same three players, all getting drawn towards him easier than I get drawn towards goth lasses with loads of black eyeliner on. And again, he does make the wrong decision here. He goes for goal when he should be slipping in his fullback. Which, yeah, in all seriousness, he probably will have to improve, because this Man United system lives and dies by your ability to draw the opposition towards this player before slipping in this player and then rolling it across from this player. Like, Victor Gyökeres is going to go to Arsenal for like 60 or 70 million pounds or something, purely because of how well this idea worked at Sporting. So he's doing the hard bit, like the bit that most players can't do. He's doing that, but he's got to get his peripherals up, because that's the easy part. But yeah, if you just mentally strip away the Brentford kits from this image, it's about as picture perfect and ideal as you could have for what Amorim ball is supposed to be. Direct attacking threats in the 10 position, supported by wing-backs, with the ultimate goal being to give the forward a chance he simply cannot miss. And the reality is, for Man United, while they did have very talented players in these two positions last season, like Fernandes had a go, Mainu, Mount, Garnacho, Ahmad, you don't fear any of them in this part of the pitch the way you would fear Mbeumo. Like, yes, some of them offer the transitional threat that you really want, and some of them do have that technical threat in possession, but none of them, you would argue, have both. Certainly not to that standard. Like, I can absolutely guarantee you Bruno Fernandes does play this pass for the overlap, absolutely, but he doesn't then skin you alive when you turn the ball over in your own half. And likewise, Ahmad and Garnacho, you absolutely do not want to see running at you with the ball. But when they get into a position like this, are you throwing three players at them in a panic because of what they might do? No, I would argue, or at least not yet. But Mbeumo is a player who gives you all of that, and just this staggering level of intensity as well. And this is what would excite me, a really bad nerd, more than just the goals, right? According to Opta, he made more off-the-ball runs, like over 1,000 of them, while a teammate had the ball, than every other player in the Premier League last season. Only Bruno at Newcastle and Daniel Munoz covered more ground than him in total. So, like, he's arguably the third hardest worker in the Premier League, if you want to measure that purely by graft. And actually, no, you make a good point there. That's not really a great measure of it, is it? Just, like, running around. Like, you put me or you in a Premier League team and just run around doesn't mean it'd be good. But he came third in the entire division for the amount of times he went and won the ball back in the final third. Semenyo was top with 37, and Mbeumo, who does not even play for a team who press you that often or that aggressively, was third with 32. So imagine what he might do with those running numbers, with those ball regaining numbers, playing for a team who do press you really hard. Like, his numbers for tackles, for interceptions, for ball recoveries, all just scream work rate, game reading, intelligence, stuff like that. And just, if by the time this video goes out, right, Man United have still not agreed a fee with Brentford, and just on the off chance there's somebody from the club watching, right, just come here, right? Just pay it. Just pay it. Anyway, though, yes, regardless of if you're working for a Premier League club at the minute and you did enjoy the video, then please do let us know in the comments below. And of course, if you're brand new here and you haven't subscribed to ACFC on YouTube yet, then why not subscribe to ACFC on YouTube? I think it's the best channel that I've ever done, certainly. You can get me across all the social medias at Adam Clery, C-L-E-R-Y. And a message for our existing subscribers, whether you became one 3 seconds ago or 3 months ago. Apparently the bell's really good on YouTube now. That's YouTube are telling us to tell people if they like the content, the little bell next to the subscribe button, because then you'll actually find out when videos go out as opposed to just like magically stumbling across it as you're apparently supposed to at the minute. So that's there you go. That's my key messaging for you. That and Bryan Mbeumo is mint and Man United should buy him if they haven't already. Bye.